We'll just go around the horn here and introduce you all. This is my name's Amber Harloff. I'm the product director of Trakwell, and we have Rusty Weiss here. He's the CTO, and we have a bunch of our other team members too. We've got Jack, who's managing marketing. We have Harry on, who's director of training services, and I think we have Alec and Daniel on, who are in operations and support. So we're really glad that you've all joined us today. And the main thing we want to start with is you may notice that there's been a brand shift and a pivot from door counts becoming Trakwell. And the whole message behind that is to get the data that you need to with the power of computer vision. So today it's just going to be a really short message. Going to go through an overview. We're going to talk a little bit more about computer vision and what that means to us at Trakwell, as well as go through the quarterly, the Q4 roadmap and beyond, what we have planned. So for door counts, what's changed? We've had a name change, a new visual identity mainly, and by partnering with Always.ai, which you'll learn a little bit more about for computer vision, it's enabled us to be able to improve object detection, counting, tracking, to deliver more accurate and immediate data. And I'll just go through a little bit more about the brand pivot. You're in the right place if you're looking to track the entire buying journey, to integrate your foot traffic data, increase conversion rates, motivate your teams, and have more accurate data. As the years have gone by, door counts, we started to service more industries than just home furnishings. If you've been around with us for very long, you know that it started off in home furnishings, but since then we've expanded to service sectors like the restaurant industry, footwear, financial services, jewelry, real estate, all with the goal of better tracking performance and improving workflows and data. Powered by computer vision. So in 2022, we announced our partnership with Always.ai. That is a computer vision company, and I think we have a couple of the guys on here from Always.ai. And late in 2022, Doug and the team worked really hard to get first of 7 beta locations to implement this, the new camera system. You can see over here on the right-hand side, this is an example of what we implemented over at La-Z-Boy. And the results were great. There was an 81%, up to an 81% reduction in false person detections caused by shadows. And then there was about a 50% reduction in duplication of person counts on average per month. Also, just before we get too far, feel free, we have a question and a Q&A section open, so feel free to drop any questions in there if we're rattling on going too fast and not answering questions. A little bit more about computer vision that we're working on, and Rusty's going to get into this in a more technical way, but I'm really excited because on the front end, we are already working with customers looking at wait times in line management, occupancy and dwell times. For instance, we're working with quick service restaurant right now to detect dwell times in line when they're waiting for their smoothies. We're looking at zone specific analytics. So starting to work with auto exclusion of employees and vendors. So you're not going to have as much exclusion to work with on the floorboards. Also, we're working with quick service restaurants to develop precise recipe creation and to track safety measures there as well. And also just continuing to work with accuracy in tight spaces and tough lighting for all of our door counts customers. If you have any trouble at all with duplication or false, ghost images, that kind of thing, this is going to be game changing for you. And we'll have a spot at the end that you can contact us to get upgraded to this version. And I'm going to turn it over to Rusty now, where he'll talk a little bit about what's ahead and to talk a little bit about the great team that he's put together too.
Yeah, that's really lovely. Thanks for the introduction. Hi, all. It's a pleasure to meet you. Some I do know, some I don't. My name is Rusty Weiss. I have a long history, really, in both system science and as well as cloud and infrastructure engineering. So I think that this project, where we're going, is well suited for basically the future of what is home furnishings, all the way from home furnishings to automotive to quick sale restaurants, and it all fits within the space of what is cloud and what is machine learning operations, ML ops, and artificial intelligence. So that kind of that's the basis of our Q4. And delivering the data that's going to make your processing quite a bit more efficient and more rich in understanding. So one of the things that we're really proud of, actually, we've built in a system to ingest the feedback from our customers and from the field, really, into our process. So this really is what's known to be as a DevOps model. So we have, the developer operations. Our whole development process is centered around looking at what is next, what is the pain points that we're needing to solve here, and the operation side of it is really directly asking the customer and getting that feedback and saying, okay, we need to focus on are these things. So what we've put together is the ideal portal, and we're feeding off of that, fitting that into our agile Scrum sprints, and delivering and starting to really kind of build a release management and a roadmap that actually fits and becomes more predictable. You'll see that, kind of watch this space, but you'll see that coming out in the next number of months as kind of the infrastructure we're building gets more mature and has the strength to carry these user stories and these epics that we're building out, in our roadmap and delivered to you. So maybe next slide there, Amber. Yeah, super. So one thing that we saw as a major pain is the Trakwell mobile. Really, it came as this this little hort in the who from push notifications. People are going, it'd be really lovely if we could actually get kind of new chimes or new bells, or can we be notified that someone just came in the door that's not just an unassigned photo? That's really specific. But what we realized is actually, the world has very intelligent mobile phones these days, which we need to leverage that. You need to be on the floor and actually, actively engaging the relationship with your customers. You have a phone. Let's get this mobile notification, get push notifications put up and out there. So there's a lot of engineering behind the ability to have that mobile device tell you not only securely, but also accurately and in an extremely real-time fashion. There's a lot of work to be done there. So we're working on the mobile side of the floorboard as a first take. And you'll see this in our roadmap as I deliver the slides in the next few slides here. Things that you're really specific about. We want to be sure that it's targeted. The mobile device is targeted to the right audience. So you will have, this role-based access and control. RBAC is going to be driving who can see what on the mobile. You can't see what you shouldn't, and you can see what you can. And it's going to be very specific to hearing, the notification that you set up or not. Maybe you don't want to be bothered with the customer you're with. So it really is around the design consultant, around the salesperson right now, and then we're going to iterate. Next slide, Amber. Yeah, cool. That will then feed, not only mobile, but our new site that we're building on right now, the infrastructure we're building on right now. And we recognized, okay, we actually need to get, a state-of-the-art, you'll see this acronym over and over again, state-of-the-art reporting. Right now, we're working on goaling and reporting. We're achieving kind of metrics of the data that we already have and enabling our customers to set goals and then be notified by them. You see, as an example here, we can set up these data, the customer can actually set up these data points and say, we want to drop production time this week. And you can see it's down, by 2%. Yay, cool. You should be able to track this kind of data from the data that the store is producing. So you're getting a deeper understanding of how your team is performing, and it's across the board. So this isn't only one location. You can compare store to store. And we're taking, this is kind of baby steps, but very secure and assured baby steps. Okay, we're going to set goals. And then in the home furnishing side, we're going to be looking at year-to-date goaling. You can actually establish goaling. A little bit of foreshadowing. We're looking at ways, we're designing ways right now of having a very intelligent LTSM goaling engine. So you can actually just put in a bunch of data and you'll have an artificial intelligence driven goal set out for you based on historical data. That's long-term coming, but this very baby steps, this is exactly the kind of thing that is possible right now. And we can kind of set this up for store to store. Next slide. Super. So you see the state-of-the-art reporting, right? So what we have is an infrastructure that we're building. We're taking the data that is from our production instance and pulling it into a data warehouse. And that gives you a better kind of business logic and the questions you want to ask of your data directly driven out of a high performance autonomous database in Oracle. And that data warehouse is a segregated, engine from the production site. So now you're just focusing on that infrastructure delivering what it does best, right? It's just simply providing you data. And we're going, it will have the interface to customers to be able to say, I want to completely modify all of these reports. I kind of like this, but I want to have, something more of a time series. I want to have something more of a product category series, over time, or product category, maybe even over seasons. And I want that emailed to me on a daily basis. Okay, super, or on every week. These are the kinds of really rich, reporting engine kind of features that we're basically just going to be channeling for you. I mean, like we'll, be implementing some real state-of-the-art reporting engines in the next quarter, potentially next quarter and the quarter after. Next slide. So we wanted to kind of a tag team between Amber and myself. The integration, I mentioned this once before anyway, but that we're integrating what we're looking at is reporting engines right now, but what the real key to the ability for you to get as much information out of your data as possible is for you to branch out beyond really the tool that ingests all of the data. There is the door counts data. There is the actual tracking data that you get from the store, from the customers. But you need to be able to see that in different ways or have it ingested in a different way. So these are the integrations in our integration partners. Amber can talk a bit more to the more historical integration partners that have supported door counts for a long time.
Sure. I don't know. A lot of you may be aware, but recently Profit has come out with the ability to directly integrate with us. Well, we've developed an integration program with them for their not only on premise but in the cloud. So there's that system, as well as Storus has also come up with that this year. So that's something that's fairly new. And we're also further developing the Podium relationship to sort of bring in more of the features that Podium's has in their API that we can make use of as far as texting and communications with the customer and furthering that as well. Google Sheets is another new one that we just have come out with. So we're hoping that can help further where you want to get your data. Say you want to send it into Google Sheets and then send it into Zapier to have it do some other type of work for you. That is sort of an interim thing until we get to our next slide, Zapier integration that's on the way. And that's super exciting for me anyway. I don't know. I love Zapier, but so Zapier and HubSpot, we've recently switched to HubSpot for our own personal communications of the company. And so there's a lot of things that'll be driven off of that. Things like dispatch track that you'll be able to communicate and send out notifications. And then as well as other booking appointment tools that we can send scheduled actions to and sync in eventually. Another big one that is going to be coming out, working with things like Furniture DealerNet and other systems that bring web leads into the floorboard. So having, like we already have in the app system, we already have the ability to do track something as a phone call coming in and then track it as a potential sale. We will have that ability to pull the web leads into as well.
Cool. Right now we have a Power BI integration. Ultimately, that comes through both the Google Sheets and the Microsoft 365. What they call it's a data source, or yeah. So within Microsoft 365, you build what is a data source and then provide that data source to everything, literally Excel to Outlook to to OneNote, and ultimately that all drives through Power BI. We have a proof of concept completed for that, as well as, like we said, in Google Sheets. And so what we're looking at is just the ability for the customers to extract the core data we channel in through door counts and into the systems that you're already integrating with, like Salesforce, like like Zapier. Yeah, go for it, Amber. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's right. And as well as the Salesforce, that is actually, we're almost completed with the Salesforce proof of concept integration.
Yeah, excellent work there. So we, the actual roadmap, again, I wanted to really stress that this is driven from the idea board. This is going to become a very regular, it is already a very regular, regularly published and cyclic process where we'll find what the customers are really voting for. We want to get your feedback and say, this is the most important thing to me. And we drive that directly into our agile sprints. I can count 4 or 5 items that have actually made it not only through the entire process, really proven out the DevOps methodologies. One thing in particular is coming very soon, we're in testing right now, is the email updates. So when you email, it's right now we're just vetting out how it looks, and we want to be sure that it's very solid, but you email from your company, so you get your own domain emails. And then the tricky part, of course, is pretty common for CRMs to integrate with the email chain. So whenever you email out, the entirety of the conversation is kept within the CRM. So it's all kept within door counts. Okay, cool. And we want to be sure that that is very stable. So we're well within testing it now. It came through the whole Trakwell, this Trakwell ideas pipeline. So please do keep it up. And
I just dropped the link in there, Rusty.
Super.
If you look in the chat, drop the link into that.
Lovely. Yep. Thanks so much, Amber. So that is, this is the DevOps process. That is to say, this is the customer's entry into what is our development process. This is the operations talking into dev. And we're, looking as much as the Q4. We want to see these release cycles start to tighten up and more and more and more, so that we can actually say, okay, on this sprint, that is in 2 weeks, we will have this feature, and you'll be seeing the release cycle become cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. Next slide. So the Q4 roadmap and beyond, we wanted to just give our good old lovely Gantt chart approach to really what is in our purview right now. And these things take a while, right, to actually develop. And so it's not only developing, it's testing, it's integrating in with our entire release management system, and to be sure that it's stable for customers' use, obviously. Some things are very critical. We can't mess around with single sign-on. We can't mess around with a Trakwell mobile. We want to give that an amount of time. And so we're looking at, we're starting it right now. We're looking at, storyboarding and the process. Like, okay, what does this actually look like? And we could use some feedback on the ideas board. What is it that makes the most sense to have on your phone? We have a good cut at it. We have UX, experts on it and say, yep, that actually looks like it would be very good usability for a salesperson on the floor. Super. So we go through that process, and then we're starting to integrate it into a build process and starting integrating it into the release management process. That's just one, taking the Trakwell mobile as one example. The advanced CRM implementation, I wanted to talk to that a bit, because what we know is there are many CRMs, customers already have CRMs, and they want to actually integrate into door counts as a client of door counts. The CRM has to have deep integration. And this is part of what we talked about earlier about the infrastructure, reporting, and API integration being really kind of the first and foremost what our focus is right now, so that you can then naturally just connect up your CRM if you have one that you've already implemented. They're a lot of work, and you don't want to kind of fracture your data. So we might as well just make it so that it makes it easier for you to drive the data into your CRM. And then future thinking, we have what we're saying is occupancy and zoning. So what that really is in the location, you can count an estimate number of people in your space now and in your lobby, or in the zone that you've defined within your departments, and we want to see like some heat maps, both frequency distribution and duration heat maps within different zones of your space. These are items that are on the roadmap, but you can see that they're going to be out for the next Q4 arguably and beyond. Cool. Next slide. Let's talk.
Right. So let's talk. We had some questions come in. One was about Perk. Are we integrating with Perk? We do have a one-way integration where we can send data there. And if Perk is willing to work with the open API that we have, we can send leads there. But I think we've also talked about pulling it back in, right, Rusty?
Yeah. Yes.
The short answer is yes.
The short answer is yes. Exactly. That's kind of a.
There's always a long answer, but
there's always a long
short
answer. I don't want to bore you. So yes, exactly. So obviously the focus is to have your process supported by door counts. And so, if it is an integration with Perk, that's high on the priority list, and it is high. So the short answer is yes.
Right.
It elicits another question, which we see is, we have a very specific API that's, called potential sales. And there has been a very loud and clear request for a two-way potential sales API. That is now done and in testing, right? So again, we're within this process of going, okay, we want to make sure that it makes the most sense for what was kind of a first blush at CRM integration. You have a potential sale, you have a customer, you want to just pull them into your CRM, or you just simply want to pull in your potential sales in any point of sale system that you might have, either into door counts or out of door counts, and keep the two in sync. So that's another point. We're, as part of the DevOps process, this really fit in very nicely. It was a high priority. It was well supported. So it's, I would expect for it to be, is it this sprint? Most likely.
Right. We will be sharing this recording, and if you have any questions now, we can take a few minutes if anyone wants to drop any questions in. And if you're not a customer of DoorCount/Trakwell, you can scan that QR code and book time to talk. Or if you are a customer and you'd like to upgrade to Trakwell to start using the AI components that are there, you can also scan this and we can talk about that as well. We'd love to have you. And you will start noticing a little bit of the brand change here and there as we go along. It's going to be a slow fade, and we're just going to keep on iterating on that. So are there any questions or anything come in, Jack? You have any questions?
Nothing new.
Okay.
Lovely. Thanks, Jack.
All
So
right.
yeah, the main focus I want to drive home here is, the accuracy and the delivery of the metadata, the data about your space and your customers coming through your doors, is our paramount, focus. We want to make sure that what you can count on is your counts. It is your track, right? And what this really kind of drives, it drives your opportunity accuracy on which you can actually rely, right? And that, without a doubt, is our primary focus at this point. And you'll be seeing those are the improvements we're striving for over the next quarter.
We had another question asking if existing customers will be automatically upgraded.
So not automatically upgraded, but we can talk about upgrading your stores to the AI. What it requires is moving cameras, and it also requires we send someone out to move the camera, and then we also will send a piece of hardware that is
so it's the internet,
provisioned for your store.
Internet of Things. It's an edge device that will send to the store, be retrieving. It's going to be streaming the camera data through this edge device and doing analysis of the, basically people coming in and out of the door, and making really kind of the accuracy of counting and discounting people, and then in future states, auto exclusions of, your employees, of delivery people, et cetera. So this, the piece that is part of the upgrade that isn't just a seamless automatic occurrence is sending out and setting up the edge device.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Click on the QR code and we can organize a time for that process to begin.
Thank you, everyone. And
Cool.
we will, there will be a recording of this go out. So thank you so much.
Have a great day, everyone.
Appreciate you. Okay, thank you.